Well, folks, we're finally here, 209 North High Street, where 75 years ago, the transaction went down. This is the location, ladies and gentlemen, where the current relations between US and Russia started, right at this address, because this is where the Russians stole the atomic bomb sequence. Do you want to know more? Let's go sit down. Well, folks, here we are. Sit down with me on our front lawn of the spy house while I tell you the rest of the story. So, the courier arrived on that fateful day, and he looked at the front, he looked at the back, he looked at the front, and decided to enter through the rear steps. He went up to apartment number 4, knocked on the door. Well, as the story would be later told, when he was in his jail cell, the courier admitted that he knew he was at the right place because he loved the music that was coming through the front door from the radio. Benny Goodman, swing music. He liked Benny Goodman because he was a nice Jewish boy, he being Jewish. And so the door opens. And boy, was the courier surprised to see a tall, burly dude in an Army corporal uniform, corporal insignias. And said, first thing he said was, "Julius sent me." Well, the courier was right on because the occupant, the corporal, was the brother-in-law of Julius Rosenberg. You may have heard of him, the fellow that was electrified in Sing Sing prison, early 50s, espionage. So he invited him in. Next step was a further step of identification. The courier provided a ragged piece of Jell-O box. Well, David, out of his files, he pulled out the matching piece of raspberry Jell-O box. They matched, so they knew they were talking to the right people. Proceeded to provide the courier diagrams of what he was working on back in Los Alamos, of the Fat Man bomb. He was the metal worker, the machinist, so he knew exactly where all the pieces met. He provided him those diagrams, but in addition, he also provided a list of the scientists that were working on the bomb that he perceived as sympathetic to the Russian Communist cause. He handed him those lists. He was also greeted by David Greenglass's wife, Ruth. And by the time they left, 45 minutes later, the courier provided to Ruth 5 $100 bills. Then they departed ways. The couple went off they wanted to go dancing at the USO club before he had to go back to Los Alamos that night. The courier went back to the Hilton 505. He had to go see his mommy, if his mommy was okay. And that was the last time they would see each other until 5 years later when they were both in adjoining cells in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, 75 years ago, this Wednesday, June 3rd, the current relations between America and Russia, here's where it started.